I stumbled across another paradox that I thought was interesting. So, much the same way as peroxidase breaks down peroxide, I like to be the paradoxidase that breaks down the paradoxes. So here's my question. When is an exponent not an exponent? An exponent is not an exponent when it is the exponent to an exponent. In that case, it's a multiplier and it's not an exponent. That reminds me of the old jokes. When is a door not a door? When it's a jar. And when is a leg not a leg? When it's a lap. And when are clothes not clothes? When they're laundry. So anyways, we got a to the third, and then take that to the second power. You just multiply them together. So it's a to the exponent of 2 times 3, a to the sixth. And the logic or the proof on that is a to the third is a times a times a, but then we have to multiply that by itself, or this whole unit, we multiply by itself one more time. So we get a times a times a times a times a times a, we get a to the sixth. In other words, a to the x, quantity to the y, equals a to the xy. I did another video on the rules of all the exponents and proofs if anybody wants to see that. But this works for monomials, but I was wondering how this would work for a polynomial. So what if we have a to the quantity b plus c, and then take that quantity to the exponent of d? Do we leave that d up there, or do we still bring that d down right there? I put a little inverted question mark at the beginning there just to be whimsical. So let's use some numbers for example, see what happens. Let's take a to the b plus c. Let's call that a to the 1 plus 3. So that'll be a to the fourth, quantity to the second. So 4 squared will be a to the 16th. So is that correct? Or should we bring that 2 down in front of the parentheses so we end up with a to the exponent of 2 times 1 plus 3, and the 1 plus 3 are in parentheses. So we get a to the 2 times 4, because 3 plus 1 is 4, we get a to the 8th. Which one of these is correct? I think the reason this is interesting is because when you have a binomial and you square it, that means you need to expand this out or FOIL it out. If you simply bring down that exponent and put it in front, so you just multiply it, that's an entirely different problem. Let's write it out here for the proof. We have a to the quantity, 1 plus 3 in parentheses. Take that quantity and square it, so a to the fourth, and then squared. So let's take a to the fourth, multiply a times itself 4 times, a times a times a times a. Then we have to multiply that whole unit by itself one more time, a times a times a times a. We end up with a to the 8th, so the second option is correct. The logic is when you replace your variables with numbers, there is no FOILing. Everything simply reduces down to a single number.